Good morning. Today we're going to draw a caricature of Teddy Roosevelt in Flash. We're doing this so you can get familiar with the drawing tools in Flash in case you want to add a caricature to your animation for your presentation. So here is my rendition of Teddy Roosevelt, who was the 26th President of the United States, one of the most famous presidents during the Progressive Era. So you want to start by opening a file. So hit File, New, and click OK. And your stage will come up. The white part of your screen is your stage, and that is where you want to draw your caricature. So we're going to start by using the circle tool on our toolbar. And so just click on it, and you're going to take and draw by right-clicking and dragging to the size you want. Oh, we have it filled right now, so we don't want that. So hit Command Z, which will go back one step, and it's a good thing to know, shortcut to know, because there's lots of times you do stuff and you want to get rid of it. So let's try again. All right, so I'm drawing my circle, and this way I only get the outside. Now there is a fill in here, it's white, and I will look at that in a minute so you can see how that works. I need a second circle. We're going to draw the basic outline of the president's face. So I'm going to draw a circle on top, and I want to move this. It's a little askew, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the solid arrow or the selection tool on my toolbar, and I'm going to select it. Now if you select by right-clicking once, you only get the fill that I was talking about before. See, this fill is white, and now the circle's empty, but I don't want it to be empty. I want to keep the fill, so I'm going to hit Command Z, and if I click it twice, now I have the entire circle, the fill and the outline, and I can move it where I want. Okay, all right. Now I'm going to make this a little larger so I can see my area better. And I don't need this middle line, so I'm going to go to my toolbar and select my eraser. And I'm going to erase this part of the circle. Because I don't need that part, so I'm just going to erase it. It's always good when drawing to start with basic shapes, and then you can change those shapes by erasing or adding on to them. And now we have the basic shape of President Roosevelt's face. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw his nose. So I'm going to come here and select the line tool on the toolbar, and I'm going to take two lines. I'm going to start in the middle and draw two straight lines down the middle of his nose. And it's okay if it's not perfect. Part of animation is it doesn't have to be perfect. It's a caricature. I also need a line, two lines at the base of the nose, short lines. And that's going to be the end of his nose. Now, I could keep them straight, but I would rather have them curved. So how you curve a line in Flash is you go to the line in the middle, and as you take your selection tool and you move it towards the middle of the line, you get a curved tail on the bottom of the arrow, and that means it's ready to curve your line. So you right-click and drag it out, and it creates a curve. So, but you have to be careful that you have the curved line and not the square line. I will show you the square line in just a moment. So the tail has to be curved, and that will curve the end of the line. Now, as you saw before, if you go to the end, you can get a square or a right angle there. And what you want to do there, that will let you make your line bigger. Move your line. It can make it smaller, and you can use the tip to attach the line. So we're just going to make that smaller. The extra lines that you see are your guidelines. they're showing you how the arch is going to curve. Okay. So I do want to connect this, but I'm going to connect this side. I wait for my square. And I'm going to connect it there. And I'm going to wait for my square, and I'm going to pull this down. There we go. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to connect it to my line. Well, I don't like that, so I'm going to hit Command Z. I'm going to try that again. I can always double click it if I want to move my line. Sometimes if I move it, I have a little bit more room to do what I want. So I'm gonna, yeah. I can get rid of that part of the line by just highlighting it and clicking it. I can curve my line again, and then I can move it to where I want it. I suppose we can make the president have a funny looking nose because he was a boxer, so perhaps he broke his nose. It's not doing what I want, so I'm just going to erase it. Sometimes you can't get frustrated that the line is not doing what you want. It's just easier to erase it and draw a new line. And by doing that, you avoid any frustration. You can also use the eraser tool and get rid of what you want. Okay. If I wanted to turn this line around, I would go up to, I would highlight it first, so double click on it. And I want to go to Edit. Go to Modify and hit Transform. And you can free transform it and see it gets a bounding box. And if you take your cursor and move it to the outside, you get a rounded arrow, and that's going to allow you to turn your line the way you want it. And once it's turned, you can You can also get this tool by going to your toolbar. It's the third tool from the top. It's called the Free Transform tool. And if you highlight that, it'll also bring up the bounding box. Now I can connect that. There we go. So now we have his nose. All right, we need to do his mustache. So we are going to draw some lines for his mustache. And again, I'm going to go to my selection tool, find my arrows, and I'm going to make those straight lines. Oops, that's not where I want that one. That might be where I have to take it. That part, by deleting it, I'm going to take this one and put it where I want. There we go. Now, I want these two to, you have to be careful to fill. Sometimes that happens. So if it does, you just need to hit Command Z until it goes back to where you want. Hook that around. There we go. Now I have my mustache. All right, I'm going to give him a mouth, and President Roosevelt was usually smiling. Not all the time. He could be a fierce man. He did say walk softly and carry a big stick, and he knew how to use that big stick as well. But for the most part, he was a happy-go-lucky guy. Loved a good joke. Loved life. Always in the midst of things. So I'm going to give him a big smile. Give him some nice teeth here. I'm going to get closer. So I just hit Command plus, and that let me zoom in. He's making some teeth for our president. Great smile. All right, I'm going to take my selection tool and I'm going to push this up a bit. Connect those. And even out his smile here. So like I said before, sometimes when we're using this, you just have to trial and error, get what you want. They are caricatures, so they don't need to be perfect. I'm just erasing the tops of these lines. I can fix it by using my selection tool and just connecting those lines back again. So even if you erase something, it's not the end of the world. You can connect them back to where you need them to be. You just need to make sure that you have the right angle, tail, and not the other one. All right, so let's do Teddy Roosevelt's eyes. Now, Teddy Roosevelt was blind in one eye, or nearly blind in one eye. He lost it in a boxing match. So he did wear very thick glasses for most of his life. And so we're going to take our circle tool and draw 2 round circles. And we'll give him a little bridge to his glasses there. My selection tool. Connect there. Connect that there. Okay, and I'm going to zoom out by hitting Command minus, and I'm going to give Mr. Roosevelt some ears by adding 2 lines here. And again, all I'm doing is adding the lines, then going to my selection tool, getting my little tail, and pushing them out, and voila. We have some ears, and I think I'll also give him some hair, and so I will give him some hair, part in the middle. There we go. And I think I will also give him some character lines here. We'll give him a few forehead lines. Where I want it. I'm going to do Command Z. I'm going to zoom in a little. I'm going to use my cursor, put the stage in the middle. There we go. I'll give him some character lines here. Line on the ears. It's just for dimension in your drawing. Some dimples and some extra chins. Now, to make these a little bit more realistic, we're gonna, let's see, undo. It's very important to wait until you have your tail, otherwise you might hit the fill. Undo. All right. Let me zoom out by hitting Command minus, and there we have our bully president, bully in a good way, and that is Theodore Roosevelt, our character of it. So we just save this. File, save, and we'll name it TR, and I'm TR2, oops, And there we go.